It's the 10th of November 2023. The year is winding on. Ukraine finished. This is just on the Ukraine war. We need to get to understand the war is effectively over. The United States is trying to advise Zelensky to sue for peace or try to enter into some peace agreement. Zelensky still has this weird notion that he can recover the Crimea and the eastern provinces. Not a hope, not a snowball's chance in hell. Zelensky and his predecessors brought this on themselves. That's another day's work. Now, remember that the Americans lost the Vietnam War, they lost the Afghan War, and the Taliban in Afghan is actually cutting the amount of opium being produced. They're down to 5% of what it was. They've cut the opium production more than any Americans or anyone else could even think about, and it makes you wonder, did they really want to? But in any event, now they're going to lose the Ukraine. The Ukraine is going to go. The deal Putin will strike will be not good. He'll be very tough. He's going to be very tough. It won't be easy. He doesn't want to annihilate the west of Ukraine. He sees the people there as Christians. I'm not particularly bragging him. He's a dictator. He has a country with huge resources and he knows it, and he is on the move. But I don't think he's really on the move into Europe, or he wants to take over Germany and try to cope with its ailing economy or any of that. I don't think that's what he wants. I think he sees low-hanging fruit and better pickings in places like Africa and elsewhere, and he's winning there big time. He's also in league with the Chinese, and there's a kind of a war going on with them over Taiwan. So there's tensions there, right? Now, of course, the Arab-Israeli thing on the 7th of October, that put the tin hat on it. So unfortunate, definitely the suffering there is correct. We're not going into that here, but that faces the United States with a huge problem of trying to fund two wars. The United States takes the side of Israel as a general rule, trying to fund two wars. So Zelensky has the hand out for money. It was always the plan of the West to have Zelensky awarded some type of Oscar, like for acting in Hollywood, at a big Oscar ceremony in which he would be the guest star, him and his wife and him, and they would be seen as some type of actors in reality, a bit like Rambo, a bit like Raiders of the Lost Ark, a bit like Avatar, that film, or Clint Eastwood maybe, or John Wayne, or all those people who fight a war, a tough war, and come out victorious. The difference here is they fought a tough war and they came out the losers, and it is all over there. There's terrible cruelty against young Ukrainian men, and indeed they're supposed to be taking pensioners off the buses to try and make them fight. It's dangerous getting a bus there. It is really terrible what they're doing. Ukrainians are essentially war criminals when they do that to young people. Some of those young people might have mental issues and different challenges in life, and they force them into the war and give them a rifle to kill somebody. I mean, this is not right. But in any event, that's it. Let radio, television share. No, this is not it here. Let them plough on. Where are the people that sent all the goods over to Ukraine? Are they going to go over now and fight? Where is Sean Penn? Sean Penn is connected with Ukraine through his bloodline. Well, why isn't he over there now fighting? He's soon humped off, right? Germany's broke. United States, I can see them so badly off for money that they're going to have to sell any gold deposits they have. They're going to have to give gold to the world and try and get money to run their economy. American economy could shut down in the near future. It is unbelievable. 33 trillion in debt. 33 trillion. There's no regard. The Biden administration has no regard for financial order or financial rectitude and has no accountability. Spend, spend, spend. So that'll do. You see the way the thing is going. There's no hope of Ukraine winning the war in any fashion. It remains to be seen what conditions Putin is laying down. He has massive air power. He has enough of an army that if the US and NATO invaded Russia, he would probably beat them again, the same as the Russians beat Napoleon and beat Hitler. And yet he's not exercising it completely in Ukraine. So that tells you what's going on. So it's tough and it's hard. The America is stuck in countries all over the place. They're not invited into many of them, and now the way Ukraine's panning out, they're not going to be there either. BlackRock investments and all these big finance houses were hoping to correct the doldrums they are in financially by getting their hands on the huge Ukrainian assets and having them on the stock exchange and having their people become billionaires out of the great foresight. You'd see it in the financial press. Oh, BlackRock was so wise. They got involved in the Ukraine. They always had confidence that Zelensky would win. Oh, we knew he would win, and we put our money where our mouth was, and now it's come good, and our share prices are way up, and we're paying great dividends, and our stock price is 50 euros a go, and it only cost €1. This was the plan, this was the hopes, and this was the Walter Mitty, or the stupid, unrealistic approach. As to say, go woke, go broke. They would have had windmills in there that have pulled out all the fuel out of there, that have eventually get Putin beaten and get all this cheap oil and gas. That's all gone. It doesn't mean Russia is in a strong position, but they're in a stronger position than the West. I don't know what he'll do. Will he move on other countries in Eastern Europe, like Latvia and Estonia? I don't think so, to be honest. I don't think he will. I think he'll move to greener pastures and get whatever's available there and come into a deal with China to get their hands on most of the African wealth and goodies that's in there. Okay, so that's it, folks. If I'm wrong now, I'll hold it, my hand up. I predicted at the beginning of the war in February, in about the 23rd of February 2022, I predicted it'd last 2 years. I was 100% right. Okay, and I more or less, while I had initial hopes for Ukraine, in the end of the day, they are fighting for their freedom in a kind of way. They're doing the best in terrible circumstances. At the end of the day, their government was corrupt, and if they had to get independence, Zelensky was going to make sure it was more corrupt. The billions that the Western criminal companies would steal from the people of Ukraine it couldn't be counted. They were in there to rob and plunder, and that's not going to happen now. That's it. Realistic or not, hard as it may seem, I can only give you the facts. My channel is real, true education, not fake news. The war is effectively over in Ukraine, and it's down to whatever negotiations take place. I think you'll see Putin holding on to what he has. I think you might see a Moscow commission in Kiev, and you might see protection for Russians living in Ukraine. I'd say Zelensky will have to hump off. I'd say he'll be brought over to America and let retire there. I'd say that's what will happen. And some sort of government will be conjured up there. Will they get into the EU, the remaining part? I don't know. If that's to be reconstructed by EU money, the EU is effectively broke as well. So that could break the EU. I think they'll have a sort of a World Council to try to reconstruct the bit that is left. And I don't know what Putin will do with the rest. I'd say he'll try and put some of the oil money in to it. And I'd say he'll offer that if they let him export his fuel at the proper price and his metals and all that, he will contribute to the reconstruction of the Ukrainian cities which are held under his command. Bye, folks. See you back something else. Comment underneath. Don't be afraid to say what you think.